welcome to the broadcast with Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. My name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is season 8, episode 10, episode number 825. Is that what we're up to? Did we 325?
Yes.
325. We aged 500 episodes in 1 week.
Sure feels like that sometimes, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, how's it going? I can smell again.
That's good. Like fully.
I don't know if it's fully or not, but I know I can smell again. So
time will tell as to the potency level.
Yes. Although I don't know if this is like COVID related or not, but I or if I've got some like post-nasal drip or just seasonal allergies. But since my smell came back, I have had the weirdest taste in my mouth that I gum brushing my teeth. Nothing gets rid of it. And I can't quite place what the weird taste is, if that makes sense.
I bet it's COVID related.
Yeah. I mean, any
Probably.
Weird thing post COVID with your body, it's like, it's
very true. Very true. I'm guessing I've had the weird taste and maybe like the smell. I don't even know. I don't know. But it's been weird.
Like if your sense of smell is not all the way back.
Mm-hmm.
As we discussed last week, smell and taste are very interconnected.
True.
So I think you're onto something.
Yeah. I don't know. It's gotten lesser though today. But over the weekend and yesterday, it was really bad. I was like, God,
Oh, it's annoying.
I don't want to be in my own, ugh.
Oh, if I had a nickel for every time I say that.
You'd have a nickel.
No, I'd probably have about $1.50. I feel like it's
Fair enough. Yeah, anyway. Anybody have a good weekend? How's life?
Busy. Really busy.
Yeah. Good busy?
No, well, sort of, I guess. I mean, there's good busy and then there's just busy, and I am currently existing with both of those things. But
fair enough.
Yeah, we had a really good weekend. We went to our first family baseball game.
Nice.
Ooh, what team did you see play?
We went to Citi Field to see the Mets play the Reds.
Awesome.
Danielle is a Reds fan, so ergo, the rest of us are Reds fans as well.
Fair enough.
Did the dutiful task of wearing the garb and chasing the toddler around when she lost interest.
Oh, man.
Up the stairs and down the stairs. Perhaps it was the big giant ice cream who bought her. I don't know. But it was fun. I think I watched a whole of 10 minutes of the game, so it was perfect for me.
Nice.
Right amount of baseball for me. But yeah, that was really fun. And then Saturday, I went to see at the Brooklyn Museum right before it closed. Hannah Gatsby, our patron goddess, did a exhibit with the Brooklyn Museum looking at Pablo Picasso and the feminist art movement that was sort of bubbling up as he was sort of ending his life. So it was sort of drawing these comparisons between the problematic parts of him just being kind of like the shitty guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of countering it with where women in the art world have gone in the 50 years since his death. So sort of starting in the 60s and 70s, and then the exhibit ends with like current women that are sort of carrying that torch. So it was really, really well curated, as so much of the Brooklyn Museum is. But it was fun to see, like, and again, I'm like not an art person, so like I'm probably sort of speaking out of my depths. But like it was really fun to see sort of like a high art concept funneled through a comedian, because I think she was able to tell stories in a way that I think your sort of layman, non-highly educated art person could really grasp and understand.
It's a very successful exhibition.
Yeah, like just really made connections in like a way that was both funny but also really like razor sharp and smart, and just it was really helpful for like contextualizing, because it was, you know, parts of art that I don't know very much about, and I feel like I learned a lot. I got to see a lot of cool stuff. I got to see a lot of weird art, and it was a real delight. And it made me
Awesome.
want to watch Nanette like over again, because I
Totally.
had forgotten how much, like, she did a whole long bit
Yes.
about Picasso, and I think that was sort of where the
Mhm.
impetus
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it
for
came
sure.
from.
Yeah.
And I had completely forgot about it. And they
And
actually
then that really
like,
checks a lot of boxes for me.
it really does. It really, really does. And when they like towards the end of the exhibit space, you sort of, it takes you kind of chronologically through time. So it sort of starts in the earlier part of Picasso's career and sort of takes you up through like female artists of the 60s, 70s, and then you go into this little antechamber, and it's playing that section of Nanette on the screen, so you could like sit and watch it.
So cool. Love that.
Oh, right. Okay. This is the thesis, essentially. Like, this is
Yeah, yeah.
the birth of this whole thing came from. I need to go home and watch it immediately, and then you sort of walk through another door, and then it goes into like the future and sort of who are the, you know, the standard bearers now, who are continuing this work, and like current art. But
Awesome.
it was really, really cool.
Awesome.
And you said
awesome.
it's the exhibit's closed now?
It's closing this week. I
Gotcha.
don't know if it's traveling, but if you're in the New York City area and can get yourself to the Brooklyn Museum, in general, it's just a great museum. I'm always a fan, and I always enjoy my visits there.
Nice.
And I do believe they're doing some sort of discussion about the exhibit at some point this week. But you know, solo parenting. Oh, we lost Shandy.
Nope, you're here. Sorry.
Ha.
Ah, but yes, no, they have some sort of.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Jay called and it messed up my audio, so I hit settings, but I turned Shandy off by accident. I was trying to quietly make sure that everything sounded good on my end. I'm so sorry.
No, you're totally
Okay.
good.
I can still hear
Keep
you.
going. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that they have some sort of discussion this week. I don't know if Hannah Gatsby's actually going to be there or not. I think it's some of the other curators, but it's a weeknight. So it's a school night, so I couldn't go.
Yeah.
I'm distracted.
Sorry. You're talking about art. I want it to be artsy.
Hey, look at this cool brick wall.
I changed my background while I was in the settings, guys. I got distracted. I was like, what is this virtual background thing that's right below the audio? Anyway. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool.
We'll have I will have to put a link in the show notes if anybody is interested in seeing it. And if you've seen it, you know, holler at us. Give us some feedback. Do you agree with Amanda? I'm sure you do.
Right.
Tell us why.
If you're a listener of this show.
Yeah.
Sounds like you had a really awesome weekend, though.
Yeah.
Baseball game, art museums.
It was real busy. It was real busy.
Yeah, but fun busy.
It was fun busy. It's true. It was fun busy. I think we haven't had like a fun busy in a little bit. Especially, and
Yeah.
it was all like homegrown fun. Like, we didn't. There's something nice about being busy, but also being able to like sleep in your own bed and like hang out on your couch at night. You know, I feel like at this point in my life, that's the fun. That's my speed of fun.
Yeah.
You know,
fair.
I'm still home and in sweatpants by like 6:30.
That's great.
You know,
Sounds like Shandy's kind of night.
right?
I mean, you can maybe push it to 8:30, but yeah.
Nice. Jay had a concert on Friday, so the boys and I and Jack and Cindy and Elena and her husband Chase, we went out and watched. So that was pretty fun. And then Saturday and Sunday we kind of just hung around because Jay had a toy show, so the boys and I just, you know, did errands and caught up on home things. So, you know, very, whatever. Now we're full into the swing of baseball game life where you have 2 games a week.
That's a lot.
That's
That's
a
a
lot.
lot
That's a
to ask
lot.
for a parent, like working parents and like just parents that are also just like human beings that maybe want to have a life.
I know. Oh, you know what, though? It's not so bad because the season ends October 12th. So we've got like,
It's coming around the corner.
Short,
Yes.
short and spectacular. It's like,
short and spectacular.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
I will say the big event here, and I don't know if it's the same for you, Colleen, but probably is I feel like we've made it through summer. Finally.
oh my God, it's finally not
Finally.
terrible outside.
Oh my God.
Yesterday was so nice.
So
This
nice.
weekend, Saturday was so nice.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Okay, so what Shanny's referring to is now it's like low 80s and high 70s.
even
Great from the
below,
100.
under the
And when we wake up, it's in the 50s, which is always a little bit of culture
60s
shock
here,
for
but
us.
yeah.
Oh, we had 57 this morning.
Damn, we had like
wow,
64.
that's like,
I mean, I
that's
guess
like our weather up here.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm
pleasant.
surrounded by the trees. So I also
Mm.
what the thermometer is at my house generally tends to be a few
Mm.
degrees cooler than everywhere else. So
Okay. Yeah, but it's been nice. It's like life-changing.
yeah, this is that time of year that this in the spring is when it's really nice to live down here. And I guess in the winter too, because it
Winter's
doesn't ever
fine
get
too.
like, super cold. Just summer's been real hot lately.
That's fair. This winter is probably going to be real terrible here.
We did talk about
So says the Farmer's Almanac, and
yes.
I don't know
Farmer's
how often
Almanac.
they're wrong, so we'll see.
The Nino.
Yeah,
is,
whichever one.
Yeah, is gonna make it a little colder too. So I don't know. We'll see. The kids are very excited. This morning there was frost on the grass.
Wow.
By the gas station that's like at the turnout right outside my neighborhood, and Alex was like, "There was frost. Does that mean it's going to snow?" I was like,
I hope not.
like, oh yeah, we got 30 more degrees before that happens.
I'm not ready for that.
Let's get like through Thanksgiving before we start talking about snow. But anyway, so speaking of though, we need to discuss my favorite month of the broadcast, which is October. So Halloween is actually the 31st this year, which I'm going to go ahead and suggest that we just take that actual day off because Amanda and I are probably going to be doing Halloween things with the kids.
And by you mean Halloween is the 31st? Do you mean the 31st falls on a Tuesday?
That is so what I mean.
Because last I checked, Halloween is always on the 31st. It's the day of the week that changes.
You guys know me so well. We're syncing thoughts. Yes. So I propose that we do our movie show on October 17th, and we do our costume party on the 24th.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Okay. I am actually going to be in New York on the 17th to talk about the movies.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh, maybe I can escape to Amanda's apartment.
Yeah.
I'm just going to invite myself.
Here.
That would be so incredible.
That'd be super fun.
It would be so much fun. Maybe I'll see if that's like doable. Okay, so let's plan on. We'll figure out some good movies to do. I will probably go overboard. You don't have to. I just love it so much. Anything like ping your interest for this year so far? I gotta do some research.
Have not looked at the list that
Yeah.
you sent us.
I did look at the list and then I forgot what was on it.
Yeah.
I kind of did too. Don't worry.
Yeah, I have not. I know it's not Halloween, but it makes me think of Halloween. We started watching The After Party, which I know, Colleen, you have recommended. It is very good. I feel the murder mystery aspect of it. It's, Halloween adjacent.
Yes. Oh, it's so good.
It's really
and maybe
good.
I'll
We're really, really loving
actually
it.
catch up on. So you started season 1.
Yeah. But I think now that season 2 is out, we'll probably just roll right in.
Nice. Let me know what you think. Super, super fun.
So fun.
Yes. I'm looking at the
I will
list
say,
again.
I'm current on What We Do in the Shadows, and I'm always down to talk about that.
Oh, that's a good excuse to get caught up on that. Maybe
Yeah.
this will be the year I watch the original movie. Maybe this is the year.
Oh,
Maybe this is the year. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna promise that. I don't want to set myself up for failure, but like maybe this is the year. We'll see.
I like that. Maybe I will
Yeah.
too. Again, not gonna
Okay, well, if
promise
you're
or
gonna
set
do it, if
myself
we're
up.
all gonna try and do it, then maybe I'll make more of an effort. But
I didn't say I was.
okay,
So
I like to
think about it.
prioritize
TBD,
what
TBD.
I like to prioritize what at least one other of us is watching
Hmm.
for conversation's sake.
That's fair. That's fair. We'll find some good movies, including All right. Next week, if you can come back with some suggestions, write in the suggestions. That's gonna be even better for us.
Yes.
Yes. But if
The
it's a really scary
broadcasters-
movie, I'm gonna veto it right now, guys. So just careful what you write in.
Yes, you guys know that we like campy fun. We don't love.
Yeah. Don't come at me with that new Exorcist movie because I am not gonna watch it. I'm just not.
Yeah. We like the silly campy fun. Hocus Pocus, practical magic.
Yes.
Beetlejuice vein.
Yeah.
Did we talk about practical magic in years
We
past?
did the
We
first
did.
year we did this.
Oh, it was
Okay.
first year. I was gonna say it was last year. The years bleed together.
Last year we did Beetlejuice and
Hocus Pocus
Pocus
2.
2.
Ah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I might just rewatch Practical Magic just cause. Why not?
Tis the
There's
season.
never a bad time to do that.
I know. Exactly. All right. Yeah. Any suggestions, send them our way. Thebroadcasters3@gmail.com. Very excited for this. And then we'll be live on Zoom on the 24th. Gotta start thinking of costumes.
Man,
Woohoo.
now the stress starts. Damn it.
I know. Because I never have anywhere really to go. So
That's true.
Start thinking.
I have faith.
Yeah.
I have faith.
Yeah.
Okay. So pivoting from one topic that I love to talk about to another, we all watched Theater Camp this week, which remember last week when we were talking about what is a good companion movie? Wet Hot American Summer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
The whole time I was watching it, I was like, fuck, if I had thought of this, I would have suggested Wet Hot American Summer. Because I never need an excuse to watch that movie. I love that movie.
Oh. Yeah,
I
that's
think
that
I
does feel like a missed
mentioned Wet Hot
opportunity.
American Summer when I was explaining what the movie was. That it was like in the vein of
really?
Wet Hot American Summer.
Damn it.
I mean, it was at least something I thought. Whether it actually made it out my mouth, who can say? But
Yeah. Next time. Another
yeah,
time.
it's fine. It's fine.
I'm sure we can find Wet Hot American Summer with something else.
Exactly.
Maybe Wet Hot American Summer, the TV show.
Yeah, maybe they'll come out with another.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so Theater Camp. What'd you guys think? This was Ben Platt and a whole bunch of other people that are escaping me, even though I pulled them up on my phone earlier. Second. Yeah, what did you guys think?
I was good. So I saw it in the theater a couple of weeks ago. And Frank saw it in Sundance. So that's why it was on his radar.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the whole time I was watching it, I was just thinking, wow, Colleen and Amanda need to watch this. And then I was going to watch it again. And I literally started it a couple of hours ago. But then sometimes I just cannot bring myself to rewatch something that I've already seen, even if I liked it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sometimes I can watch things over and over, and sometimes I just can't.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I started taking notes, and my notes say Theater Camp. But yeah, I did.
God.
Already seen it, so I did do the assignment. I also figured that either way, you guys will probably have a lot more to say than me anyway, because this is kind of like right up your alleys.
Amanda, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I really loved it. It just was very real. Like it just hit a lot of the beats, and I loved the archival footage, if you will, of the young Ben Platt and Molly Gordon, like clearly, It was like a love letter to the summer camp, the summer theater camp
Yes.
experience. And I think you can't really the best comedy and like the best parody comes from a deeply rooted love of something.
Yeah.
And you could feel that in this movie. It definitely like hit me in the feels in a lot of the places where just like how right they got the experience.
I agree. It was, yes, super fun. I think they played up some of the more, stereotypical elements that you expect of a theater camp movie, which was great. I didn't realize that Molly Gordon was a co-director with Nick Lieberman. But yeah, no, I loved it. I had so much fun watching it. It was somewhat predictable that you kind of knew that the dumb son was gonna sell it by accident, and then kind of like have his wake up moment. But I loved it, and I thought that the ending with the song was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really what got me. That's where it really felt the most true to me, that it's like, it comes together in the last minute and like
Yeah.
it's a real
Yeah.
like sucker punch to the feels.
So, keeping with our Wet Hot American Summer theme, Amy Sedaris was great as Joan, but would it have been? It was a missed opportunity to have Amy Poehler as Joan.
I don't know. I love me some Amy Sedaris. I feel like she was the right choice. She's like so underappreciated, and I think in that like arena of comedy, like in particular, like I think literally like Daniel's only note was like, man, she should be in the whole movie. Like, when she goes down in the beginning, you're like, oh darn. So that means she's not going to be in the rest of the movie, huh? Shoot.
Well, it took me at first when, because I thought it was a mockumentary. And then when she goes down and I was folding laundry. So I was like, oh, that sounds like Amy Sedaris. And then, that was that. And then she goes down and they're like, the subject of this documentary has fallen. And I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't Amy Sedaris. Is this real? So then I had to pause and look it up. And I was like, okay, no. It's not real.
Is this like a jury duty situation?
Right.
Or what was the joke? Like, this is the first known injury from Bye Bye Birdie. Bye Bye Birdie.
Yeah. The strobe lights, yeah. Oh my god, so funny. All the songs were great. Yeah, no, I went to theater camp when I was growing up, but I never went to sleepaway theater camp. So I was kind of like mixing like my MICTA experience, which is our college performing arts group that Amanda and I did, with like my experience of being like 13 and going to like theater day camp.
That's fair.
And doing community theater, which I did when I was, in my early teens. And there was a lot of like new high school graduates and whatnot, and older people too that did the productions there. And so if let's say I was like 12, 13, 14, 15, the older kids that were like 18, 19, they would be the ones that were sitting there like still smoking because it was cool, because it was the 90s, and singing Rent and like trying to like outdo each other with like their jazz hands and shit. So yeah, definitely took like a amalgamation of all of my different theater experiences, and I was like, yeah, I get that. Yep, I get that.
Yeah, well, and I think it's so much of it is very universal. Like I did go to theater sleepaway camp. It was only a week. It wasn't like a full summer camp, but like it was very like in line with this. I would go to like for a week, and we'd write an original musical in a week. Amazing. And we'd perform it at the end for the rest of the camp. And then I went back and I was a counselor for several years. So like this, like I felt this very like in the depths of my bones. There were certain things that just like, right. Yeah. That's how those songs would come together. And right. Like, the person who was writing the end song, they would just disappear for a while. They would just write the song and come back, and you'd be learning it right beforehand, and everything just feels so like overblown and overly dramatic, and you're just in this microcosm of
Yes.
like this little pressure cooker of your own making. Or like things that are not important like feel so important because you're a
So
theater kid, and like
important.
you just have all these feelings and emotions,
And you're
and it's a
feeding
place
off
where
of
you can
everybody.
you're yeah, no, you're right, you're feeding off of everybody else, and like, you know, at least in my, and I think a lot of people probably hold this some truth to the stereotype of like theater kids aren't traditionally like the cool kids at their school. So like theater camp was a opportunity to see what it was like to be like a cool kid for
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a little bit of time. Like people cared what you did, and like
And they got you. They were your people.
they were your people. Yeah.
Yeah. So Shandy, as a non-theater kid growing up, what were your thoughts overall?
That was good. I actually took theater classes in high school.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, listen like a little bit,
Well, then I stand corrected.
Yeah, no camp though. That would have been fun, but it was fun. It's a little bit over the top and like supposed to be, and
Yes.
what made it fun. No, I liked it. It was a really enjoyable movie going experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
What did you guys see the twist with Glenn taking over the role coming at all?
No, I mean, I did see that there was like Glenn was going to have a moment in
Yeah.
some capacity. That's not what I was expecting, but it was like
No.
such a lovely treat.
It was, because they set it up so much that other girl was gonna surprise them and like be old Joan and blah blah blah. Because that had that whole scene. But then when Glenn just shows up and dressed as her, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
awesome.
Yeah. What about who was the woman that played her roommate at the end? She
I
seems
wondered
so
that
familiar
too.
to me.
And just it did feel like it was someone that they had to
like a
have been-
cameo of some sort.
Yeah, for sure. But I didn't recognize them.
Yeah, and I was on IMDb and now I'm on Wikipedia just to see if there's a cameo, and I'm scrolling through and I don't see it. So like I don't see who it was. So I don't know if we're just missing something or what, but
I wonder if it was just
she
like
seems so
somebody's
familiar.
mom. It's like the cast was littered with Nepo babies. So,
What Nepo babies were in it?
Well, Ben Platt is a Nepo baby.
True.
I mean, that's true. Perhaps it's all assumptions on my part. I would just assume that like the whole production staff like all grew up in Beverly Hills together. So,
Yep. Well, Molly Gordon, who played What's Her Face, she's a Nepo baby. Is she a Nepo baby? I assume she was. She was born and raised in Venice, LA, California. Daughter of director Brian Gordon and writer-director Jesse Nelson.
There it is.
So there it is. Seems like Amanda's onto something here.
Well, once you like, I knew she was involved in like the I didn't know she was a co-director, but I knew that like she was involved in the creative side of it, and seeing all the the actual footage of like her and Ben Platt as like little kids. It's like, oh, she must be a Nepo baby too.
Sense.
I feel
that makes total sense.
I'm calling myself out for making big sweeping stereotypes, and I just so happen to like be lucky and be right in this instance. Woohoo! But yes, don't judge people. Don't judge books by covers, folks.
No, you used your context clues.
Yeah,
and we're correct, completely correct. So there you go. Okay, yeah. Any last thoughts? Otherwise, we'll take our break. We'll get into the feedback. We'll start with Matt's feedback about Theater Camp. All right, cool. All right, thanks again, Matt, for letting us watch it. All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back. I raised my spirit fingers, my jazz hands. You guys couldn't see that. Yeah, this isn't cheerleading. Although one of these days, we are watching Bring It On.
Okay.
I'm down.
I love Bring It On. I don't know if it still holds up, but I'm dying to see if
I don't think so.
It probably
Yeah.
doesn't. I'm gonna go
Group
with
of white cheerleaders battles against group of black cheerleaders.
for stealing all their moves. I feel like this could end very terribly for this movie.
Well, when you put it on paper, when you read it out loud.
I don't think movies were that self-aware in that context, or we're going that deep.
I said, "Burr, it's cold in here." I said there must be some toros in the atmosphere. Okay, yeah, we'll be right back. All right, we're back. We're ready to get into some feedback. We are actually going to start off with an email from Matt, theater camp feedback, and he says, "Hey, broads. Well, no use hiding that I loved theater camp. Well, I did a little bit of high school drama club. I never went to any kind of sleepaway summer camp, let alone a theater one. However, I think there's plenty to enjoy in this movie, even if you don't know the references going in. You can tell this was made by theater lovers as it shows how ridiculous it can be, but ultimately never feels like it's putting theater or the characters down. It does kind of feel like a love letter to theater, right? Like
Yeah, for sure.
an over the top love letter, but still love letter. The film really is a love. Oh shit, he says it in the next sentence. I didn't even read that far ahead. The film really is a love letter to what exposure to the arts can do, like allowing someone to be their truest, best self. It's important to keep in mind knowing that all these things are struggling. The whole notion of an overnight summer camp seems like a relic from a bygone era or something only for the uber rich. We all know the arts are continually undervalued. I will say that in Raleigh, there's a sleepaway camp that I believe is in Wake Forest, and it is one of those ones that like parents are clicking refresh at 6 a.m. on the morning that registration opens. It is like the it thing for summer camps in this area.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not a theater camp though. It's actually like summer camp. That is a sleepaway camp. But okay, getting back to the email. We have to have something that shows that there are people who see the theater experience as something meaningful and not a venue to vape, take pictures with your flash on, and for you and your date to give each other handies.
Nicely done there, Matt.
There was some titty rubbing, very awkward titty rubbing, but it was happening. Although those look so new that I don't know if she can feel it yet, but whatever.
Mm.
All right, clearing my throat. Well, I saw this in the theater. Unfortunately, I was the only person in there, which I don't think has ever happened to me before. It was an early screening, to be fair. I think Barbenheimer was great, but that was so massive, even greater counter-programming struggled to get noticed. I really hope this finds a bigger audience on Hulu because I think the drama kids past, present, and future will love it. Fun fact, Molly Gordon, who co-directed with Nick Lieberman and co-wrote with Lieberman, Platt, and Noah Galvin, and Ben Platt are actually lifelong friends, and those home movies shown in the film are of the two of them doing shows when they were kids. She was also in love with him before finding out that he was gay.
Love
there
that.
you go, Amanda.
That felt very. It's like it just all felt very authentic. Like it felt very.
I feel like that is the quintessential theater kid experience, though. You have to fall in love with your gay best friend first.
Right. It's sort of, I don't think you have to know too much about like the creators of this film going into it to be able to like pick up what they're putting down.
Yeah.
It's like, that clearly came from their real life. Like it felt very authentic and real. And
yeah, yes, exactly. Matt continues. Sorry. Whew. Matt continues, glad they didn't go with Jimmy Tatro's Troy having any homophobia. Going back to American Vandal, he's shown to be a great meathead, and here we see the softer side of that meathead. We should have talked about that, and we didn't. Troy was the son. I think it's kind of funny that, the like what's a straight musical or what's a straight show and what's a gay show
What's a
in the
gay
very
show?
beginning.
That was
Musical.
funny.
But other than establishing him as being like, you know, kind of a dummy, the dummy archetype, you know, the non-theater nerd, if you will.
Mhm.
I did think that it was kind of great, kind of like that Schitt's Creek, you know,
Mhm.
effect of like,
Mhm.
you know, the issue, like everybody is who they are, and that's never a part of the drama,
Mhm.
right? Just why, which you know is great.
But like that also felt like very organic to me as well. That like it wouldn't have made sense if they really went full on meathead with that character because that character was raised by
In the theater, yeah,
this woman who ran this theater camp and like you know you get the impression that like she raised him as a single parent.
yeah,
So, you know, I would find it harder to believe that he was completely like and utterly removed from the theater community and had no empathy for it. Like, I think
yeah,
that would have been the harder sell for me.
yeah. I totally agree. Matt continues with, "What a summer Io Adibari had." From guest spots on I Think You Should Leave, which features TC's Theater Camp's Patty Harrison. Jay has gotten really into I Think You Should Leave, actually. He watched a whole bunch of that. Yeah. He watched a whole bunch of that when I was in Marco without that, when he was still here. And then tried to make me watch it in Marco Island. And I was like, I'm just not, because that's all sketches, right? I'm not a huge sketch show person. Like, show me the funny ones, but like, I don't need to watch an entire 5 seasons of it.
Well, it's like I like sketch, but there's just something about like that strain of like absurdist humor that like
Yeah.
it's not for me, and that's fine. But man, Daniel is like Jay. He
Yeah.
is for it. He loves that show. And I
Yes.
just don't get it. I just don't get
Yes.
it.
I'm just like, show me the highlights. Watch the season and then like pick your favorite 2 or 3 and I will laugh for you.
Even that, I don't even. I'm glad you love it. It can be just your thing. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be my thing too. It's
Yeah,
fine. We can have separate things that make us laugh.
Compromise.
Yeah.
Living our own lives. Okay. And she was also in the best episode of Black Mirror. Joan is Awful. A weird tie-in to Still Joan. There's some universe stuff for you, Colleen. So Joan is Awful is the Black Mirror episode that Annie from Schitt's Creek was in, right? Shandy? You guys watched that, right?
I know that's another case of separate things. Frank loves
Okay.
the shit out of Black Mirror, and occasionally I've watched an episode or two because he like really insists that it's so good, and it's like, glad you like it. Not my.
Yeah, you know, for all the
It
weird
certainly
shit that I
makes
like,
you think. Like, I don't deny that, but I just
for all the
consistently
weird,
depressing.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't need to be. I don't need to think
No,
there right
yeah.
now. My mental state is too fragile for Black
Yeah.
Mirror. Like the current events, I just can't do it.
Totally agree. Okay. She also she did voice work in Across the Spider-Verse, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. That's right. She was April, wasn't she? The Clone High relaunch to this. Bottoms, and last but so far from least, the stellar second season of The Bear, of which Molly Gordon had a recurring role as well this season. So yes, Io Deborah had a great summer.
Indeed, she did.
And she also has a comedy show where it's all, which I'm sure is one of the things that he listed here. Maybe that's isn't she the one that has a show that it's all like ad lib or whatever?
Oh, I
Am I
don't
thinking
know.
of the right
I know.
actress?
I know she is part of the creative team for Bottoms that it came from. They were all
Maybe
like NYU students together or something.
That must be what I'm thinking of. There was a clip that went around Twitter, X or whatever the fuck it's called, and I didn't know there were 2 actresses in it. I didn't know either of them, so that's why it must have been Bottoms. It must have been, but it was just like, can't believe she ad-libbed. they ad-libbed this whole scene, and apparently it was supposed to be very hilarious in the context of the show. And so I don't know if I'm thinking of the right person, but there we are. Okay. Sure, I'm Just Ken seems like the front runner and likely winner for the Best Original Song Oscar. I would love to see Camp Isn't Home get a nomination. How it goes from this thing Molly's character tosses off to becoming a genuinely moving showstopper is another reason why this film is so special. Agreed.
But I think that's also what felt really real to me, like, because I think that part of the movie really spoke to me, because that was the type of theater camp I did, where it was like creating the content, and like that's always how the show got made. It was just sort of like, okay, we just need to start the scene, like, okay, how are the beans? And like you would just go with it.
Yeah. And then finally, okay, wait, just going back to that real quick, because I was going to say this before, I didn't know how they were going to end it, because it was never really like set up. And then when she started in with the Snapple thing, and I was like, oh, okay, we're doing this, and it's gonna be weird, or one of those moments where like somebody just finishes it on their own in the moment. And look, they're harmonizing, so they must have worked it out together. And then when you find out that she actually did finish it, you're like, okay, that makes more sense. This isn't Glee. It's theater camp.
And it happened 10 minutes before the show started.
Exactly. And everybody harmonized.
This is theater camp.
Where the magic happens.
Yep. We all know how to do a 3-part harmony. Just figure it out.
Figure it out. Okay, and then Matt's final note is Ben Platt and Noah Galvin, who plays Glenn, besides also co-writing the screenplay, they're engaged in real life, and they have both played Evan Hansen in Dear Evan Hansen on Broadway. Noah succeeded Ben, who originated the role.
I thought he looked familiar. And I didn't know why he looked familiar to me, and didn't have the time to look it up.
Dear Evan Hansen.
Dear Evan Hansen.
Well, thank you, Matt, and again, thank you for the 100th time. Thank you for making us watch this. It was pleasure.
A real delight.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Okay, then headed back real quick into the Facey back. Greg says, don't mess around with spiders. An old boss of mine got bit by one on his upper arm. He blew it off until it got bad. Turns out it was a really poisonous spider. It had spread to his bone, and he had to have it removed and replaced with a metal rod.
Oh my God.
He still had issues and had multiple surgeries. At times, they considered just amputating his arm. I don't mean to cause a panic, but I would want to be 100% sure if I were you. His spider was rare, a Chinese bird spider, I think. That doesn't even sound like a good spider.
No, that's terrible.
No.
And it was a bite a bite versus a sting. I don't know what difference that could make. He got so bad because he didn't go in for 2 months while it got worse and worse. Well, there you are. Jesus, go to the doctor if it's infected and gross and worse and ew.
Yeah, and that's what I said after I freaked out. I mean, my swelling's down completely after 48 hours. My swelling's down, the redness is down.
Good.
It doesn't hurt. You can, however, still see exactly the little dot.
Punctures.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, good. I'm glad that you're making progress.
I mean, so I think that means it's just totally fine, right?
I guess so. I think you're out of the woods, as it were.
There you go. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Moving on. Mandy says, my sister had COVID in August 2020. She lost her taste and smell. A couple months later, taste came back, but there are still things she can't smell. She can smell very strong scents. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Dennis said, knock on wood, but you all still have 2 friends that have yet to get the COVID.
Yeah, well, I would just say, be careful what you put out into the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did make that joke about the second time.
Yep.
No, but seriously. Okay, that's awesome. I'm glad I still have 2 people.
Yes.
Stay safe. We're all counting on you.
Yes.
And then finally Matt said, so would you say, Colleen, you thought your kids were trying to gaslight you? If you are unable to have smelt it, are you able to have dealt it? You know? No. It's like if a tree falls in the woods.
Exactly.
Nobody hears it. I mean, it might be on the ground, but did it really fall? I don't know. But yes, that is really funny. I get it. Gaslight fart. And then finally, we will finish up with the That's What She Said.
Low splash, something, blah, blah, blah.
If I stuck my nose way, way in there, I could get a faint whiff of it.
We're getting there. We'll see.
It was her first time too.
Good things come in threes. And now I'm good for 7 years.
It did spread, nevertheless.
Oh, gosh.
The sheets, the oil.
Let's do it. I can do it. I can totally do it.
Perfect size and packed a punch.
I need the good stuff.
Excellent.
We have some
Excellent.
really funny ones in there.
Yeah, there
Perfect
are some
size
real
and patch
gems.
the fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny broads. Well, all right. Thank you all for playing this week. Next week we'll be back. Maybe we'll do some. Oh, Shandy, you had shared with us a nice story.
Yeah.
Do you want to read that real quick before we go?
Kind of intense.
It is kind of intense. Do you want to summarize it real quick then?
I can
So that way
summarize. I saw it.
Yeah, okay.
I saw it on NPR the day after we recorded last week when we talked about, the feel good stories and the paying it forward and doing kind things for others. And it might mean more to them than you realize. And the story on NPR the very next day was about this woman who was at a really low point in her life. A lot of things had happened. And she was like waiting for a ride one day and the ride didn't come. So she's like, well, screw it, I'll just walk. And she was walking. And as she was walking, it took her over a bridge. And she was kind of thinking like, hey, maybe I'll just jump off the bridge. And somebody drove by at that moment in time and yelled, don't jump. And it kind of pulled her out of it. And she didn't. And, changed the course of her life. And she's doing well per the NPR article.
I love that.
So good.
Yeah. And in the article, she said, just the fact that somebody like cared about me to say that like was really impactful. It's like, wow. Yeah. That's like a very small little gesture. Anyone can do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amen.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody else out there has any stories.
Yeah, we're still waiting for them.
We're waiting. Send them away. Send them along our way. thebroadcasters3@gmail.com. Drop them in the Facebook group. Give us a call and share them. 331-276-2373. You know the ways. Also send us suggestions for Halloween movies. The end.
Yes.
And Halloween costumes.
And Halloween costumes. All right. Well, on that note, everybody, thanks for playing. Thank you to the patrons, especially the ones that contribute a certain level. And that would be Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with a Plan, Ed the Creepy Poopy Head Mailman, and Eckhart. I saved you for last this week.
Aha, changing it up.
I just decided to switch it up. I was like, well, we're in the last quarter of the year. Let's do it. Do something different. Anyway, if you'd like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/JayandJack. It helps out all of the shows when you do that. There are other shows on the network: the Ramblecast After Dark, Survivor with Jack and Colleen. Survivor with Jamie, Jack, and Colleen is coming back. Which I don't know if it sucks to be 90 minutes. I don't know. I'm really not looking forward to watching 90 minutes episodes of Survivor. But
is
anyway,
it every episode?
Every episode is 90 minutes. The Amazing Race with Jack and Cindy is also
Why?
coming back. Every episode of The Amazing Race is 90 minutes. That is how they are
Why?
filling up their
Oof.
time. They got lucky, though.
Right.
Essentially,
the
they're trying
writers-
to-
It's a strike.
Right.
Yeah. But
Oh my
I think
God.
they're trying to compete with Australian Survivor, which by all accounts has far surpassed
Interesting.
how good American Survivor is. But those episodes I think are like 2 hours, like 17
Oh,
times a
gosh.
week or
Very
something
long.
like that.
That's such a
Yeah.
commitment.
It is a commitment. But anyway, so we'll be back. We have to do our preview show at some point this week. We just need to find time because right now everybody seems to be conflicting with something. Jamie's doing Big Brother podcast. Jack has got Ramblecast and children that are at his house starting at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So he has an early bedtime now. So most likely Survivor will be recorded on Thursday nights earlier, like 7 o'clock in the evening, 8 o'clock. I'm not exactly sure, but it'll be earlier on Thursdays. So that way Jack and I can get to bed at a decent time on the East Coast.
That's great.
Jamie's in that
Yeah.
sweet central time zone. But yes, so more people can join us who aren't able to watch live. So yeah, there'll be 4 whole shows on the network starting next week. So that's exciting.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But anyway, on
The
that
break
note,
room will be a little more crowded.
woo! Exactly. There'll be more women in the break room starting next week. Jamie and Cindy will be joining us.
Great. We'll put on the kettle.
Yeah, right. All right. On that note, though, everyone, thank you. Have a wonderful weekend, rest of your week, etc., etc. We'll see you next week. On that note, my name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.